What is going on? Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us for your 420 sesh. We're about a half hour deep. I'm definitely stoned. My name's Chad. Bartender Stars. Got CT in the booth. We got Kelson hanging out as well. And on the couch, we are honored to have Tim McDowell, co-founder of Marqaha. How'd I do?
Better.
Yeah, it's getting better. Marqaha.
It's like back of the throat.
Okay.
Marqaha.
Okay. I'm getting there. See, you just need to say back of the throat, right? No.
Now you're speaking Chad's language.
What's happening on this couch?
Yeah. You don't want to know what that couch knows. Anyway, we got a full array of your products that are up here. If you can't see them, they have flasks, they have tinctures. Oh, I don't even know if I have a tincture up there, but they kind of look the same way as those flask bottles. They just have the eyedropper on the top of it as a tincture. One of the coolest products and funner products that I've found recently was the spray. Talk a little bit about that, because that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's this is the spray right here. It's a half-ounce bottle, which is brand new. We used to have a 1 ounce bottle that was the only ones I would make that were child resistant.
Yep.
You didn't have to put them in another package or anything. They're child resistant themselves, and so we only did a half pour on it. And
cool.
So it's the exact same product, but we had these custom made, so they're half-ounce packaging, child resistant. It's really microdosing. There's a big movement in microdosing.
There is. That's if you're not familiar with microdosing, it's just making sure that you're maintaining throughout the day whatever your ailment is and whatever terpene, whatever dose you need. It just kind of helps you float along in a way and take care of that pain.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can always do more sprays if you don't want to microdose.
Yep.
But on the rec side, it's a couple milligrams per spray. And then on the medical side, it's a 600 milligram product, so it's about 5 milligrams per spray.
What do you think about that new inhaler thing that I've seen a few people trying right now?
It's interesting. You know, I've looked into it a while ago, and it's some expensive machinery and it's a little complicated, but I mean it's exciting. Everything people are doing.
It is exciting. Yeah. That is one product that I kind of had a little bit of a problem with. The only reason for it is because I got sick after, so I can't really blame the product. But I like the intake of the Binaca spray. I'm old enough to say, remember when people used to walk around with Binaca? Dude, that was the only way you were going to get the girls, if you have Binaca.
I saw written on your wall in the green room, someone in Sharpie, because there's like a bunch of cool stickers and autographs and sayings, and it said, "If your breath smells like caca, try some Binaca."
For real.
Hey yo, we got to come up with something better for his spray. Right? So I really always thought of your product line as consistent. Talk a little bit about why everybody considers you guys so natural.
Yeah, so everything's sweetened with agave or stevia, and we're starting to shift a little more towards the stevia to try to just lower that sugar content. We brew, like I touched on before, all of our teas. We bring in, most of our ingredients are organic. We don't really push that through print marketing or anything. It gets cloudy, and it's honestly kind of watered down. Organic's kind of lost the meaning that it once had.
Yeah.
But for us, we try to make everything in-house. Like the blueberry concentrate we use for the blueberry chamomile, sometimes we have to hit it with a blender because it's blueberries.
Right.
And it's really just really where Skip and I wanted to start the brand, what we want the basis of the brand to be, just all natural. We use CO2 as the extraction. We ran the company off ethanol extraction for years, which I'm still a big fan of.
Yeah.
But now we do CO2 sometimes with a ethanol co-solvent.
Mm-hmm.
And as we bring in a little more CBD product, and you have to put a little more oil into the products because they're not up in that 80 percentile range,
right?
Unless you use isolate, but we're big proponents of whole plant as well. That's why we started with ethanol.
Yep.
It's kind of can be a dark green, if not winterized, kind of gnarly tasting, but it's medicine.
And once it's dialed in, I think some folks that might have tried an ethanol extracted product before might have had that burning throat that I referred to.
Yep.
And if a company dials it in the right way, as Marqaha has done along the years, then I think that there's no reason for you to fear those.
Yeah, and the products being consistent, it's all about homogenizing them in. It's not easy with liquid products.
Right.
Just trying to get the emulsifier and get it suspended in there. And here in Colorado, we have to test everything for homogenization.
Right.
So we just tried to get ahead of that. I mean, there were years where there was no mandatory testing.
Yeah.
It was just kind of just word of mouth, and this 100 milligrams feels stronger than this 100 milligrams.
Yeah.
Which you still kind of get with liquid products, they kind of they affect you a little quicker.
It does.
know?
It kicks in, and that's why one of the reasons why I like the mist as well, because that sublingual
sublingual
or the drink just kind of gets you in real quick.
Totally.
If you're protecting your lungs for some reason, you're maybe a lung cancer patient or anything that wants to make sure that they're not smoking, or ex-cigarette smokers, of course, always like to be able to.
Yeah, and the tincture as well. The tincture comes with a calibrated dropper, so you know exactly how much you're getting. You can just put it right under your tongue. You can, we have patients that put it in their tea or their coffee.
Yeah.
And so it's, and those product lines are what we focused on for years. We're going to start expanding out from those product lines, but what's not broken, we didn't fix. And
right.
so, they're not going away. We'll probably do some more seasonal flavors and have fun with it.
Is that what's coming?
Yeah, that's what's coming. So we got some new flavors about to hit. Some, we've just brought all the flasks up to 100 milligrams. They were at 90 milligrams.
Right.
And then, brought them up to 100
It's
recently.
that's such a good step, though, too. There's so many products that are out there that they 80 or 90, just for some reason the consumer doesn't want that, and
it's such a difference.
Yeah, it totally is.
And,
so
we were testing in the 90s.
Yeah.
And just let's adjust the formulation a little bit, adjust the labels.
Yeah.
So those are launching. We kind of did that change along with the half-ounce spray change.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Which we've done both of those changes in the other markets as well, Nevada and Illinois.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm totally curious, and I don't mean to shift gears on you or anything, but at this time, usually we kind of shift gears a tad bit and talk a little bit about where cannabis came from in your life, and a little bit more about what cannabis kind of means to you in a way. I know that you were just talking science. We've been talking a lot about leading the way with the cannabis fight and fighting around the nation, and you're at this point now. How did cannabis get into your life? And what kind of does it mean these days to you?
Yeah,
I know that's
it's
loaded,
a big question.
Yeah.
So where it came in, probably this is like high school, and honestly probably not in the healthiest way at the beginning, you know, but I think I grew up in Pennsylvania, and so it's
How's the weed in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. You know,
yeah.
The price, and I'm older. This is in the '90s. But as I got older and just, I guess, learned how to interact with it and what it was, it's like kids learning to drink or something. It's like, oh, I don't need to throw up when I drink. you know?
So I don't know how people don't catch on to that with weed quicker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And go, oh, okay. And for me, honestly, like I'm a lightweight, and I realized that early. And so, people, in the '90s, blunts were a big thing. Smoking, like, let's smoke these huge blunts. One hit wonder. And it's. So that's kind of how it started, and just realizing that there was a duality feeling to cannabis of it can be good and bad psychologically at different times.
It can. It all depends on the intention that you have in it, and
absolutely,
and the spirituality that Grandpa Boots has brought the last few weeks. Unfortunately, he wasn't here, but I have to talk about the Lady Cannabis and the intention to it, because it's imperative, and I know that. Being in your shoes, you've seen it affect a lot of people. Absolutely.
I mean, it's an accumulator plant physically and spiritually, energetically. If you want to get esoteric about it, I mean, it crosses any kind of social, economic, race barriers of people who engage with cannabis. You're tapped into it. You understand it. Maybe it opens you up a little, or it softens you up a little.
Right.
We live in a crazy world.
Yeah, we do.
So, like, people self-medicate in many unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
And you can probably do it unhealthy in cannabis as well if you're with the wrong intentions or mixing it with other lifestyles.
Right.
And so the medical side of it being a whole other side, going back to the duality, it's wild to think that someone who is very sick or terminally sick can take these thousands of milligrams of tears or oil or whatever, and they can, function's probably not the right word, but they're not necessarily that high.
Right.
It is medicine to their body,
Yeah.
where if I did that, as a healthy person, I mean, that would be a completely different experience.
Right.
Just night and day of how people interact with it. And
I talk about the quality of life, regardless of if they're high in the head or not.
Yeah.
The quality of life that comes along with a patient, even if it as unfortunate as unfortunate as it is, my bad. Sometimes you just have to be eased into death in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a really hard thing for families to face, man. Like I've had so many people come to me and be like, grandpa's got this, mom's got that, brother's got this, whatever.
It's heavy, man, and it requires. I mean, there's a soulness to this industry that is required, and there's a lot of that's disappearing.
Unfortunately, I think there's going to be the root ones of us that'll keep it around,
Totally.
and try to pass that fight.
Because if you interact with those people, I mean, we talk to people who are no longer with us, and cannabis wasn't curing their illness, but it was giving them a better quality of life.
Yeah.
And I've had some real conversations with people just about life, and who knew that it's all about Marqaha and the labels and equipment and regulations, and and then you answer the phone and it's like, oh shit, this is real. And so just that's day to day, man. I mean, that's in our hearts when we make the product, and I know that may sound corny to some, but it's like you gotta treat it with respect, and the plant with respect.
The lady has always wanted to be respected, so I appreciate you letting us know that. This is Tim McDowell, co-founder of Marqaha. How did I do? Yeah,
Marqaha.
Back of the throat stuff. Make sure you come by any of the Colorado Harvest Companies. Edible Wednesday, always a good time to be able to get a discount on their products. We are going to be right back. I want to play a game, weed game with you. You want to hang?
Sweet.
Cool. We'll be right back in a bit.